G-Man, that there's T-Money, and welcome to the July 20th Father, Son, and Holy Sport weekly podcast. And just like that, everybody, the NFL offseason is effectively over. After one of the wildest off seasons we can remember here at Father Son Sports, there was a lot of stars moving all over the place, and now the teams are bringing those newly built lineups to training camp and are getting the helmets strapped on. T-Money, getting ready for 2022.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. Training camp starts, which means season's right around the corner, man. There's only 40, 50 days till Rams-Bills kick off, and I cannot wait.
Oh, that's a nice matchup. Hey, most of the veterans report next week, but this week we got the rookies trickling in. What do you think about this guy behind me here, Kenneth Walker? You know, what do you think about his chances over there in Seattle coming in as the rookie? Can he take over that?
I like him a lot. But I think Penny's going to get a lot more work than people are expecting.
Okay. Hey, all right. Well, hey, do us a favor, y'all. Press a like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. And I'm G-Man, that's T-Money right there from L.A., bringing you football energy with the July 20th edition of the NFL Rundown. It's a special segment of the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network, brought to you by our friends at Woonwise IQ. Hey, let's jump into these questions. T-Money, I got one for you. What do you think about Fornette? He reported overweight, supposedly. Are you concerned about that?
I mean, I would be concerned if I was the Bucs. You know, you don't really have a second option because they let Ronald Jones go. He supposedly showed up at 260 and played at 230 last year. Now he says he only showed up at 245.
He said he weighed 245 last year too.
But either way, they said he was 30 pounds overweight, which means they want him at 230. And if he showed up 15 pounds overweight, I'd be concerned, right? He's had an injury history. And on top of that, he was only 19th in rushing last year. I know he caught a lot of balls, and that's where a lot of Tom Brady's running backs get utilized. But 19th in rushing, and you show up 30 pounds overweight as already a pretty big guy, I'm not too concerned. I think he's feeling a little cushy after signing that 3-year, $21 million deal this past offseason.
That's right. Hey, wouldn't you? I'd be eating a little few extra donuts. I mean, if I got $7 million a year, I mean, the guy had a great year again, and he got paid for it, gave him the money. So, hey, man, he's feeling good about that. They did not do the job last year, though, so he does have something to prove, man. I guess to come back and get after the Rams. But, hey, man, you got to love this situation, especially you fancy people. He's the lone back down there. There's no other back. They didn't bring anybody else in to replace Jones. So he had a heck of a year. He's the lone back. Brady loves him. I think he still, comes and rises to the occasion.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I'm a big Rachaad White guy. I like him. Watch out. Fornette gets hurt. He's going to be the next man up in that backfield. Only $12 million is guaranteed of this contract too. So be careful, Leonard Fournette, getting a little too over your skis here. After 1 year, they can kind of let you go. So be careful not to put on too many pounds and pull an old Eddie Lacy here.
Hey, don't you worry about that. TB12's in charge. He's got this team. He's got Fornette. Don't worry about that.
All right. He better pass the avocado ice cream to Fornette this weekend. Well, let's go on to a different guy here. JaMarr Chase. Madden recently came out with their rankings, which is highly anticipated by many players and fans. JaMarr Chase ended up 18th on the wide receiver ranking list. Was Madden right, wrong? Were they way off? I mean, should he have been in the top 10? Was it too high? What are you thinking, G?
Oh, my God, he's way off. Are you kidding me? This is a home run hitter, JaMarr Chase. 18 yards of reception, ranked second best in the NFL behind your boy, Deebo Samuel. Chase was second, and he performed in the playoffs, man. How many guys don't do it in the playoffs? He had back-to-back 100-yard games in the first 2 rounds of the playoff. This guy is a stud. And Madden's way off on this one, but I'll tell you what it is, man. It's Madden's system. It's his culture. He likes longevity. He likes Hall of Famers. He likes tough guys that are in the trenches and are spitting and bleeding and all of that. Chase is too glitzy. JaMarr Chase is a glitz, man. He's not in the Madden mode.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Look, I love guys like DJ Moore and, Michael Thomas, Deebo Samuel. Deebo did great, but DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin. I mean, what have you done for me lately? Michael Thomas was 12th on this list and hasn't really played in 2 years, right? DJ Moore's fine, but has he ever looked like the best receiver in the NFL? Because JaMarr Chase has. Adam Thielen at 17 ahead of him. When's the last time Adam Thielen was relevant? 3 years ago? I mean, these are I get that these guys in the past have been successful. DeAndre Hopkins barely played last year and is going to barely play this year. It's just insane. Some of these names, Tyler Lockett at number 11. Like, you can't tell me he's more talented than JaMarr Chase, and he didn't produce as much as JaMarr Chase.
Well, you obviously did your research on the Madden picks, and I agree with what you're saying, but there's no way JaMarr Chase is 18, man. This guy, did you see him as a rookie taking on some of those D-backs last year? He's not afraid of any of them, and he's schooled a lot of them. This guy has unbelievable skills, man.
Totally agree. Just incredibly underrated here. He tweeted out more motivation when he saw that come out. So that's exciting. And Brady, funny fact, tweeted back at him, "Hey, they didn't even put me in the Madden game my second year in the league." So funny little tidbit there. Tom Brady was number 12 on the Patriots. They didn't even put his name in the Madden game. So more motivation for JaMarr Chase. We all agree, criminally underrated.
Hey, Madden, I love your game, man. I schooled T-Money many times in your game, Madden. So I'm not down on your game, man. T-Money and I played some Madden. We'll play with the best of you. Don't let T-Money and I team up on the same team.
Watch out. Get us on the sticks.
Hey, let's move over to another receiver. Let's go to Minnesota, and let's talk about Justin Jefferson. He says he's the best receiver in the league, man. Is he right?
I think the exact words were, he's going to be after this season. And
that's a little different.
And I will agree with him. I think after this season, Justin Jefferson is going to be crowned the best receiver in the league. Cooper Kupp, great, had an incredible year. Hasn't really done it over multiple years. Like Justin Jefferson's past 2 years, I would say, are better than Cooper Kupp's past 2 years. Devontae Adams, incredible, but I don't think his numbers are going to be the same with Derek Carr throwing him the ball in competition with Waller and Renfro now in the Raiders offense, right? So I think that Justin Jefferson, yes, after this year will be the best receiver in the league. He's going to ball out again.
Yeah, he said, "I'll become the best receiver after this year." You're right, but he needs to settle down, man. He needs to settle down. Be humble. Be humble, man. You don't see Cooper Kupp talking that trash talk. Cooper Kupp goes out and handles it, and he does it in the Super Bowl. This Cooper Kupp's a better player right now. He was better down the stretch. They loaded that offense on Cooper Kupp coming down that final drive. Remember the final drive in the Super Bowl? They went to Kupp. You tell me, when Justin Jefferson delivers like that on that kind of stage, you come back and tell me if you're better than Cooper Kupp.
Hey, I agree with you, but Kirk Cousins is also his quarterback.
I'm talking to Justin Jefferson.
So I know, but Kirk Cousins is his quarterback. I think Justin Jefferson would perform better than Cooper Kupp if Matthew Stafford was his quarterback. That's my point. So
Cooper Kupp got a reverse run to get a first down on fourth down. You remember that?
What do you think? He's the only running or wide receiver to ever do that? Tyreek Hill might be the most dynamic. Tyreek Hill and Deebo Samuel do that every play. What are you talking about?
I don't see Justin Jefferson doing it.
Because they had a crap head coach last year. This year is different, man. Zimmer's out. This new guy's in. I'm telling you.
Not only, I like what you're saying. I do like that too. I like where Minnesota is going on offense. I do. There is potential there. But I don't even think Justin Jefferson's the best active LSU receiver right now. That's JaMarr Chase. JaMarr Chase broke Justin Jefferson's record for most receiving yards by a rookie. JaMarr Chase is better than Justin Jefferson.
And he might be, G. He might be. But my thing is Jefferson said after this season, okay? He said after this year. right? I'm saying Cooper Kupp's better than him right now. Devontae's better than him right now. But if he does what he did the past 2 years again, and these guys fall off, then he's the best receiver in the league. And Chase has to do it over multiple seasons to overtake Jefferson. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We're on the same page, but I'm just more right. I agree with you.
Okay.
So who's going to win on a different wide receiver here? Now let's transition to Davante Adams. We were just talking about him. Everyone's had him as by far the best number one receiver in the league the past few years, maybe Hopkins here and there. Well, Adams is now no longer with Rodgers, but who's going to win the divorce? Adams or Rodgers?
Hey, you should know, you've been around long enough. You know who wins in a divorce? Nobody wins in a divorce. And nobody's going to win in this divorce. You're talking about one of the greatest duos in the past few years anyway. These two, Rodgers and Adams, breaking up. It's going to be bad for both of them, man. I don't think it's good for either one. If you say who's going to edge the other person out, I think it's going to be close. I just see Aaron Rodgers kind of going back into second gear, man. He wants to be this. He wants everybody to love him. He's trying to be Mr. Green Bay Packer. I'm going to go off into the sunset, and everybody's going to love me. And he's losing that edge, man. I don't think Davante Adams has lost that edge yet. I just don't know if Derek Carr can carry him to the same kind of numbers.
That's fair. And let me say this. I think that the Packers are going to have more initial success because that division is so bad. But I do think the Raiders will be more successful in the playoffs, meaning they could win a game, maybe two, because of how dynamic that offense is. And I think Derek Carr is criminally underrated as well. I think he's maybe the 8th best quarterback in the league. He just gets severely underrated consistently. And they have crazy amount of weapons with Renfro, Waller, maybe one of the best tight ends in the league, and then Adams. I like this duo. And I think Adams wins purely because he's not in Green Bay anymore. And he's in his hometown with his college quarterback. Like, he's got to be thrilled in all aspects to, if they're both going to lose in the first round of the playoffs, wouldn't you rather be playing in Vegas with your college teammate in the warmer weather and closer to home? Like, sounds like more fun to me. So I'm going to say Adams is going to win this because Rodgers is going to be miserable up there throwing to random rookies the whole year.
I think Derek Carr has that fire. Derek Carr has a look in his eye. He wants to win. And Davante Adams, I've seen him when he gets in those modes, man, where he's fired up and he's not going to be stopped. And that's what he has to be like every down. Be like that every down, Davante Adams. Come on, man. You got to bring it.
Yep.
Hey,
agreed.
Let's go on. Let's go on to another receiver. Worked his way from New England over to Chicago, N'Keal Harry. What do you think, man? Former first rounder N'Keal Harry. Does he have success in Chicago?
No. And I'm not going to really blame it on him as much as I just don't trust the Giants, or sorry, the Bears. Their new head coach, Matt Eberflus, mediocre defensive coordinator from the Colts. Like, the Colts weren't anything spectacular. Yeah. I mean, they were good, but that's because of Darius Leonard and DeForest Buckner. Like, it's not because they were scheming up anything crazy and they blew a game versus the Jags. Like, are you an elite defensive coordinator if Trevor Lawrence is going to kick you out of the playoffs? I just think I don't really trust the Bears and how they're going to groom Justin Fields here. I like Darnell Mooney better as a go-to receiver, and N'Keal Harry just didn't look like he was a number one pick with the Patriots and had plenty of opportunities to be that when there was really no one else there. So I'm going to go with no. I don't really trust Harry. I don't really trust their new head coach. I don't trust the organization. And I don't know if that offensive line is going to hold up enough to even give Fields time to throw the ball.
Totally agree with you. He's not the best receiver in New England last year, and he's not a wide receiver one. So, hey, man, this guy was not a number one pick. The New England did it again, just like you and I talked during the draft. They did not pick a real number one. He's not a number one pick, a first round pick. They traded him for a 7th rounder, which is probably where he should have been. No, he's not going to rise to the occasion. He's going to be okay. Here's his stats. 2019, and his first year, 12 catches for 105 yards. 2020, 33 catches for 309 yards. Last year, 12 catches for 184 yards.
Yeah.
He wanted to be out. He wanted to get traded. He got his wish, man. He better bring it.
Oh, I know. He better, man. And let me just point out, like, how bad, once again, Bill Belichick is at drafting. Like, he is a horrible drafter of defense, I'll give him credit. And finding diamonds in the rough, I'll give him credit. But my God, Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, McCole Hardman, DK Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin, Hunter Renfrow, Darius Slayton. All of those guys were taken after N'Keal Harry in that draft.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick thought that guy was worth a first rounder. So
I do have hope for the Bears. I do think Justin Fields is going to play better this year, but they need help a receiver, man. I don't think he's the answer. And they got to help Justin out.
Yeah. Well, they had Allen Robinson. They let him go. So they clearly don't care about helping him. But let's go on to one of the older guys in the league here now, Mr. Tom Brady. All right. What do you think, G-Man? Does the GOAT play his final year this year in Tampa Bay? Does he retire? What's his next move here?
He doesn't even know. He has no idea. This guy retires, comes back, retires, comes. He doesn't know what he's going to do. This guy's 44. He said he's not going to make it 5 years. Okay, so it's somewhere between now and 5 years he retires. But he retired last February. He unretired 40 days later. You know, he's going to retire within the next 5 years. It's year to year on this guy. They got knocked out of the playoffs by the Rams. The Rams go on and win it all. I don't think he liked that. That's why he's coming back.
Yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards retirement. I think he had this perfect plan in place. And for once, the cards didn't fall so perfect for Mr. Tom Brady.
What was his plan?
His plan was to retire, sign as ownership in Miami, and then get his rights traded to Miami so that he can then be owner and quarterback. And then they were going to also bring in Sean Payton as the head coach.
Oh, you still believe in the Miami theory? Okay.
That's a real theory. I believe in it wholeheartedly. And then obviously Brian Flores sued the Dolphins and ruined everything. So I don't see where his next move is, right? Like, that would have been an awesome little retirement, going to Miami and calling it a day. But is he going to come back to Tampa Bay? Because that's really his only option now without Sean Payton. You know, I don't know. I don't see him coming back. I really don't, especially if somehow they win the Super Bowl. If they win the Super Bowl, he's done.
I never thought him and Arians really got along, but they won games. So you got to give him credit for winning. And, you know, without Arians there, I think Tom feels a little bit better about this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's gonna be calling stuff. But no doubt about it, he's excited about his upcoming analyst role with Fox. He signed a 10-year deal worth $375 million with Fox. So he's excited about that, man. Oh, yeah. That's his next step. Hey,
and it's more than he made in his entire NFL career. So of course he's excited.
Hey, little surprise question for you at the end here. Since we're talking about Tom Brady, who do you like to win the NFC title? Odds in Vegas. Got the Bucks as the favorite in the NFC. Do you think they win that NFC title, man?
I think the Rams are going to repeat.
Okay. Yep. Hey, we'll be bringing y'all.
Watch the Chargers. Oh, that's AFC. Sorry, NFC. Yeah, I like the Rams.
Look for us over the next few weeks. We're going to be breaking down, giving you our picks. Everybody, you pay attention on Father Son Sports. We're going to come forward and start picking as we work our way to the beginning of the season. Hey, we hope you are loving the NFL Rundown. It's a special segment brought to you by Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network. If you're interested in being a guest on the NFL Rundown, reach out to us. This show is sponsored by Woundwise IQ. It's a patented mobile analytics software app that automatically measures and analyzes chronic and surgical wounds. Just download the app from the App Store. You are ready to go. Learn more at woundwiseiq.com. Hey, if you love the show like we love you, and you know we do, press a like and subscribe and look for us. All of our shows, our segments and clips, wherever you play your podcasts, and check out our website, Father, Son, and Holy Sport.com. We'll see you next week for the next NFL Rundown.
All right. Peace. All right, let's move on to the final segment here. Chugging Chant.
Hey, I'm G-Man. I have T-Money here with me, bringing you sports energy with the July 20th edition of the Chugging Chant. It's a special segment of the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network. Hey, y'all, do us a favor, press that like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. Okay, hey, let's get to it. Let's get to Randy. Let's find wherever cousin Randy's at. Let's go find him for this week's Chugging Chant.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Cousin Randy coming for you live from the kitchen Chugging Chant here because I'm scrubbing my hands clean of this narrative that's going around about a Dallas Cowboy. Let me get this chug in and then I'll chant. All right. Like I said, I'm done. I'm over this narrative that Zeke's done. He's not. Zeke's coming back with a vengeance this year. Everyone's acting like he's over his prime. He had over 1,000 yards last year and 10 rushing touchdowns. Not to say he almost had 300 reception yards and 2 touchdowns. The guy had 1,300 yards total from scrimmage. He was still a top 10 running back. And I know you don't like fantasy. That's fine. But the guy's been a top 7 running back last year, top 4 the year before, 9 the year before. The guy's producing, okay? He's producing. He had his second highest yards per carry ever. Back to when he was 2017, 2019, he had 1,300 yards, all these epic seasons. No, this was a great yards per carry season. The offensive line's healthy and better. He says he's in the best shape he's been in years, and he's healthy for once. They're going to run the ball. Yes, Pollard is good, and he's the lightning. But Zeke's still thunder, and they don't say lightning and thunder. They say thunder and lightning because he's the priority here. Zeke's coming back with the vengeance and going to take over the NFL running back game again. T-Money, G-Man, what do you think? Boom or bust for Zeke this year?
Hey, so Randy's bringing it with the Cavs jersey. Thunder and lightning. Hey, Tony Pollard certainly looked like the better back last year, but I do agree with Randy that Zeke is the thunder. If Zeke performs better, I think he will get more touches.
Yeah. Well, do you think he's going to, though?
Well, do I think he's going to? If he performs better, is he going to have a resurgence? I don't think, if I was a fantasy guy, I wouldn't be too excited about him because of Pollard. And I think Pollard's going to cut into his touches just like he did last year. And hey, we talked about Fornette a couple shows ago and the need to kind of, you got these running backs that are getting older. I'm not saying Zeke's old, but
he's got a lot of miles on him.
He's got a lot of miles on him. And I think as they get older, why not split up some of the touches, make them last longer?
Yeah, and that's what I've heard a lot of people theorize is they're going to try to keep Zeke fresh, right? It's not about just crushing it every single game. It's mainly down the stretch, big games, playoff games. They want Zeke to be able to be Zeke in those games. And so that's where he's going to shine, and Pollard will kind of take the load away from him. I think Zeke's going to have a very good year as well, but I'd be worried, man. McCarthy's saying that he loves the way Zeke looks. Zeke's in the best shape he's ever seen. So McCarthy is backing Zeke. I think everyone just assumes that Pollard's going to be there and that and that Pollard was better. But Zeke said he was injured last year and had a hamstring problem. I got to believe him. Like I said, like Randy said, he had over 1,000 yards. Like, people are bashing this guy like he's falling off a cliff. And I get his yards per game are coming down, but still had over 1,000 yards. He was still a top 10 running back in the league by total yards and rushing yards. So, I mean, give the guy some credit. Like, he's not falling off a cliff. He's just not the number 1 or 2 wide running back in the league like he was when he came in.
He had some big stats for the year, but the guy was terrible down the stretch, averaged just 3.5 yards a carry and 3.7 yards per target over the final 9 games. That's not going to do it, man. Overall, right now, he's ranked 16th in the league. He's behind James Conner. He's behind Javonte Williams. I think the guy is fired up. I think he is coming in to prove something. I mean, he's got to be sick of hearing this. Yeah. And here he is coming in, man. And I want to ask you a quick question here about this. who do you trust the most? When you look at these backs, I'm gonna tell you where they're ranked right now. These 3 backs all had injuries. Tell me which one you would like to have on your team if you were an NFL owner. You like Zeke at 27? He had a PCL ligament injury, supposedly partially torn. He's 27 years old. Saquon coming off the ACL, 25 years old. You got Cam Akers coming off the Achilles, 23 years old. Which guy would you want on your team this year, man?
I'm going to go with Saquon. I think he has less miles and the most talent of those guys. And Achilles just scares the living crap out of me. Zeke does have a lot of miles on him. I think potential wise, I think Saquon could have a mediocre year for himself and match Zeke's numbers. But if he's back to himself, he could lead the league in rushing. So I think Saquon is the best of those 3.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of agree with you there, man. Hey, when Prescott and Elliott entered the league together, they both came in 2016. Elliott led the league in rushing in 2 of his first 3 seasons. So they were giving him the rock, man, those first 3 years. And, maybe that's starting to take a toll on him. Hey, we hope you all love the Chugging Chant this week. Special segment brought to you by Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network. If you're interested in being a sponsor or guest chugger on the show, let us know. And if you love us like we love you, press that like and subscribe. Our viewers keep going up, and we think it's going to go skyrocketing. You like our new look? Hey, we hope you love it. Check us out wherever you play your podcast. Find our other segments and look at Father, Son, and Holy Sport.com. You can buy merchandise out there. We will see you next week for another Chugging Chant.
All right. Peace.